I have to time up those changes on the beats a little bit so that the numbers in the beats match. Otherwise, it looks a little bit cockeyed.
Yeah, I understand. I'm the same way.
Yeah, I have to figure that out. So you ready for a Saturday of stakes racing, Terry?
I am, absolutely.
We got a couple of races to cover today at Belmont Park. If you didn't check it out on Thursday with Sean Patrick Nolan. I can't believe how many times I want to mess up this guy's name, but I don't know what it is with those people with three names. The middle one always messes me up, Terry.
Yeah. Well, he had a lot of good information. That was for sure. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. So we cover the three big races over there on at the Man of War. We covered see what else did we cover in here? We got the Man of War, we got the Peter Pan, and the Beaugay Stakes. So that covers those three races over at Belmont. You could check that out on Horse Racing Radar TV over at YouTube. And then today we're going to cover the other two races at Belmont, the race at Churchill Downs, and then the big stakes race over at Santa Anita. And that covers the entirety, I think, of all $100,000 stakes races today.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, every now and then that happens. So the first race we're going to start off with is at Belmont.
Yep.
That is race number 3. That is the VAGRANCY Handicap. It's a grade 3. They're going to run 6.5 furlongs, Terry, on the main track. And if you look at that so far, they've run 7 races. 4 of them were won by speed, Terry, and every one of them, those speed horses went wire to wire. Post positions 2 and 3 so far have had the edge. And if we take a look at how the horses win in this field, Terry, the 4 horse has needed to lead to get the win, and that is the Miss Brazil. The 1, the 2, and the 5, so Assertive Style, Frank's Rocket, and Bella Sophia. They can take the lead or they can run right off the pace, so they're just as comfortable piloting as they are co-piloting. And then Kept Waiting is a horse that prefers to be the middle or the back. It can pressure the leaders and win, or it can close. If we take a look at how they're likely to come out of the gate at the quarter-mile marker, you'll see that Miss Brazil does have some of the best early speed, but not much better than Bella Sophia or Frank's Rocket. And then on the way home, Bella Sophia does appear to have a little bit of a late pace advantage over Kept Waiting and Miss Brazil. And then just to take a look at our stock charts, it looks to me, and this is the speed figure, high, low, and average for the horses. It's a stock chart. And as you can see on the right-hand side, Bella Sophia's average race, that red dot, is better than all but one horse's best race in terms of speed figure. What do you think about that, Terry?
Yeah, it looks like that 5 might be the ticket, don't it?
It sure looks like that might be one you want to bet on, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of odds you're going to get on it, but let's go through this short field, Terry, starting off with Assertive Style. Tell me what you think about Assertive Style.
Well, she's been racing at the fairgrounds, and she finished second in her last race and won the race before that. This trainer wins 21% of the time after a 40 to 60-day break. She has a really sharp workout on May 5th at Belmont at 4 furlongs, 48.2, breezing, 6th best out of 43. And she can go on top or come from off the pace, so she's very versatile.
Well, I see a huge mid-move in that last race that the horse had. And then the previous time the horse made a similar kind of out of the ordinary mid-move, it came back to run a clunker. So I don't know that it's going to follow that same pattern. But if I see something like that, I'm going to avoid a horse that shows clunker ability. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yes, I don't know if I ever heard that word before, clunker ability. But anyway, what's going on, Charles? How are you this morning? Frank's Rocket, Terry, number 2, ridden by Flavian Pratt. Trained by Belmont. The horse has run at Belmont 3 times with a couple of wins and a second, making its second start off the break after just missing in its last race at Oaklawn Park.
Yeah, she's ran second in her last 2 races in a row. And she's never out of the money at Belmont. She's never been out of the money at today's distance. And as you said, Flavoring Brat rides her.
I do like the fact that the horse does have a tendency to improve on the second time off a layoff. So hopefully that'll be the case again here too. Thank you, Tim. Gee, it will be a great day of racing, right? Two horse race 3 at Belmont. Who do you think those 2 horses are, Charles? I think it's a 1 horse race, to be honest with you, but we'll get to that horse in a minute. Kept Waiting, Kendrick Cremouche, another horse making its second start off a layoff. History says the horse will be as good, maybe a little bit better in round 2 off the bench. Did see a little bit of improvement in the late pace figures last out, Terry. You think it'll be enough to take Kept Waiting past the 2 horses that Charles thinks might be the best here?
Well, she ran 3 races and won 3 races in a row, and then she ran second in her last race at Aqueduct. And she's trying Belmont for the first time, so you don't know how she's going to take to this track.
No, in the workouts that she's had at Belmont, I mean, 2 back, she had the second fastest of 92. So that's a pretty good workout there. And then the others that it was surrounding that were at best, but that was not a bad time last out. Miss Brazil, Terry, this is the one that likes to get to the front on a fast track, 6 times, 4 wins, a second and a third. Did show some across the board improvement in its first race off the bench. Looks like historically the horses had one. It's got a history 2 out of 3 times where it's made a second start and improved in round 2 compared to round 1. So maybe it can make it 3 out of 4 here.
Could be. She won her last race at Aqueduct on the dirt, 6 furlongs. Has the highest last race speed rating. This trainer wins 17% of the time in all sprint races that he enters and amount in. And then this horse likes to run on top, as you said.
Then this is the one, Charles, I think makes it a 1 horse race here, and that's Bella Sophia. Again, if we look back at the stock chart, Charles, something I've put together based upon my stock market history, the high bar here is what you see at the top on number 5 is that is the peak speed figure, and then the bottom, and then the red dot is the average. So you can see Bella Sophia's average race is just better than most of these horses' best race, except for the 4 horse. So Miss Brazil might be the only one that can challenge Bella Sophia, Terry.
Yeah, she has won 4 out of 6 starts, and she has a high percentage winning trainer, may improve at the shorter distance. Her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters.
So how are you going to rank them, Terry?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, I think Miss Brazil will pressure Bella Sophia, which may set it up for Frank's Rocket. So I like Frank's Rocket as my first pick. Then I like Bella Sophia, the 5 horse, is my second pick. Keep Waiting, my third pick, and Miss Brazil, number 4, is my 4th pick.
So you like 2, 5, and then
3, 4.
3, 4. 2, 5, 3, 4. I think Bella Sophia wins this. When you just look at that chart pretty much handily. I have Frank's Rocket coming in second place. And then for the third spot, I have number 4. That is Miss Brazil. And then in the final spot, I'm going to go with number 3 in here, Kept Waiting. So I'm going to go 5, 2, 4, and 3. I think if you're doing those vertical bets and you're looking for a single, Bella Sophia is probably a single. Are you going to play the 2 horse, huh, Charles? You're going to play Frank's Rocket?
Yeah. The Bella Sophia normally doesn't get a lot of pressure. I really think Miss Brazil is going to push that horse. So I think maybe it'll set it right up for Frank's Rocket.
We shall see. Next up on our ticket is race number 5 at Belmont Park. This is the Run Happy. That Run Happy horse, unfortunately, didn't make anybody happy last week at the Kentucky Derby, but Rich's Strike did. Unfortunately, for those who didn't play him, me.
Like you.
Yes, I know. Just an idiot.
Yeah.
So this is another grade 350 grand, 4 years old and up, non-Lasix race. They're going to run 6 furlongs on the Belmont's main track. So far, they've run 14 races at the distance, 11 of which were won by speed horses. 6 of the 14 went wire to wire. If you wear 1, 2, or 3, or 8 or above, you tend to have a little bit of a post position advantage, at least so far. And if we look at race number 2, this is how the horses like to win. Chateau likes to win on the lead, as does Mr. Phil. Number 3 horse is Repo Rocks. That's the one that doesn't take the lead, but sits behind the leaders and tends to win. The 4, Answer In, and the 5, Officiating. They can pressure the leader or close. And then finally, the 2 horse, Drafted. Its only W's have come as a closer. And if we see how the race pace is likely to set up, Mr. Phil has a little bit of an early pace advantage over Chateau, who has a little. Go ahead.
There'll be a little problem with that because Mr.
6 is scratched. Yes,
scratched,
indeed.
yeah.
I crossed that one out and I just forgot. So that means that Chateau will have the early pace advantage a little bit over number 3, Repo Rocks, and then Officiating and Answer In are pretty similar out of the gates early. On the way home, Drafted has a late pace advantage, it had a pretty good late pace advantage over number 6, Mr. Phil. So that means it'll have an even better late pace advantage over number 4, Answer In. And again, our stock charts look like this. It looks like a pretty fair race to me. Maybe Chateau, if they all run their average race, might be a bit better than the rest of them. Speaking of Chateau, Terry, that is the first horse in the field. What do you think about Chateau?
Well, ran second last race. Rail Post is winning at a 28% clip. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. He's actually tied with another horse. The trainer-jockey combination in the last 14 days have won 2 out of 5 races, and he has a bullet workout at 48 breezing 4 furlongs, best of 13.
Yeah, I ran in this race last year, finished second. It's making its first start off a little bit of a break. 3 of the last 4 times the horse came off the bench, it did not run its best. Looks to me like this is a horse that runs better in its second start than it does its first start. So maybe it wins here. Hasn't won at Belmont yet. I think maybe you want to circle that one for the next time out. Drafted is the 2 horse, Terry. This one really bombed last time out. Kendrick rode that one too, gets off of Drafted. Jose Ortiz gets on Drafted, did win on the mud in the toboggan grade 3 of the race before that. Is this a mutter, Terry, or just a bad race last time?
Yeah, I think it might have just been a bad race. This horse ran in a grade 1, didn't fare very well, ran 5th by 10 lengths. That was pretty tough competition. Mm-hmm. And then he's got a good workout on May 9th, 4 furlongs, 48 and change, 6th best out of 66.
The 3 horses, Repo Rocks. This is a horse that can be on the front, be in the middle. It's a versatile horse. Belmont 5 times with a pair of wins, a second and a third. Never out of the money at the distance. 7 times, 2 wins, 3 seconds, and 2 thirds. Making the second start for Gregory De Parma. What do you think it's going to do in round 2 for Gregory?
Well, I think that it ran, in a grade. One last race at Belmont easily and likes the distance. And he has the highest last speed rating and the highest speed figure at today's distance. Has the best dirt speed and is fastest among today's starters. So,
all right. Number 4, Answer In, is a horse that's making its first start since March the 26th. This horse has run okay recently off of the break. In fact, it's run probably some of its better races off the break. Making its second start at Belmont. Last time around the Belmont track, finished 4th by second. Was never really in the race at all. Maybe making its first start here, that seems to be the best that Answer In can put on the track, and does get a jockey upgrade here to Flavian Pratt.
Yeah, this horse, excuse me. We're talking
about number 4, Answer In.
Yeah, sorry about that. He's trying Belmont for the first time. For the second time, finishing second the last time. And the trainer wins 24% of the races after a 46 to 90-day break. The jockey, Flavian Pratt, is in the irons. So,
all right. And then number 5, I agree with you with the 6 horse. You think a wire-to-wire horse with the 5 horse coming up here, Officiating. Wire to wire, the horse hasn't shown that kind of wire to wireness so far. So you're expecting something a little different out of Officiating, Charles. Has run at Belmont, does have a second at Belmont, run at the distance twice with a win. Joseph Saffie Jr. shipping him in up from Tampa. He's won, was the favorite last time out too, missed. But Mr. Saffie Joseph Jr. does come back at about a third of the time the next time around the track with a beaten favorite. Hasn't worked out at Gulfstream. At Belmont, all of the workouts have been at Gulfstream. I don't know that one's going to go to wire, Charles.
Yeah, he's returning to Belmont where he ran second in his only start, and the trainer wins the 25% of the races after a horse has had a 46 to 90-day break out. Break.
So I misread what you said, Charles. You said with the 6 scratching, the one horse goes wire to wire.
That's
Yes,
right.
I can see that.
Yeah, and jockey Manny Franco in the last 7 days has won 3 out of 11 races. And originally the way I thought that, first of all, this race is wide open. Then I thought Chateau would go out with Mr. Phil, and then I thought that officiating will close to win. But there's nothing really to push Chateau now, so it may just Mr. Phil being scratched may just change completely of this race. So
it probably did. I think it probably did, Terry. So how do you think it's going to play out?
Well, I originally was going to go with officiating, but I'm going to change and go to number 1 Chateau.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second pick is going to be number 5 officiating. And my third pick is going to be number 4 Answer In. And then my fourth pick is going to be drafted number 2.
Number 2, I think Repo Rock's going to sit right behind officiating. And then off of that big race last time out, if it doesn't bounce, Ruben Silvera is going to take home a Belmont win, followed up by Chateau, who I think is up the lead a little bit late. And then I'm going to go with number 5 as my third choice, officiating, and then close it out with number 2. That is drafted. So I'm going to go 3, 1, 5, 4. Not the 2 horse. The 4 horse is my maybe Jose brings it in, but I'm going to go Answer In to bring it in behind at the end with Flavry and Pratt. I should be able to read my own handwriting, but crossing out that 6 screwed me up a little bit, Terry.
It did me too. That's what how come I lost track, because I was trying to figure out what was going on now.
All right. So hopefully you know what's going on at Golden Gate today in race number 2.
Yes, I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I hope that happens. That's my pick of the day, right?
Yes, it is indeed. Right up on the screen, my friend.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm just a little slow this morning. Anyway, number 6, She's So Pretty. She finished in the money in 19 out of 25 starts. That's pretty darn good. She's won 10 of those, which is absolutely great because that's almost 50%. She's finished third versus similar in her last race, and her trainer is Jonathan Wong, as we all know, does a great job of training, and ridden by high percentage winning jockey Evan Roman. And then number 2, Bandina. She won her last race at Golden Gate Fields, breaking on top and leading all the way. She has finished in the money in 6 out of 7 starts at Golden Gate Fields, so she likes the track, winning 4 of the starts and has won 4 out of 11 races at this distance. And then number 3, Magical Thought. She closed to win her last race at Golden Gate Fields and has a high percentage winning trainer, Doug O'Neill, who wins 100% of the races when dropping off of a win. And, yesterday you had made reference to the fact that my second choice had been doing better than my first choice this month so far. And that rang true yesterday at the same time. I liked the Santa Anita in the 4th race, number 5, Octopus, who stayed in contention till about the head of the stretch and then just kind of fell back. But my second pick, number 3, Synthesis, won that race and paid $440, $260, and $220. And my third pick, number 2, Quick Finish, ran third, paying $420.
All right, good. See, I know you better than you know you, Terry.
Yeah, you do. Well, at least this month they're doing. Although my first pick, as far as finishing in the money, has got the best percentage. It's finished in the money 90% of the time this month. So,
all right, good. Well, hopefully that the 2 horse continues to win, and your top pick continues to finish in the 90 percentile. Then we can have some exactas and trifectas.
That'll be good.
We might be able to get a nice exacta or trifecta out of the MAMZELLE stakes or overnight stakes over at Churchill Downs. Big field here, right?
It is. Although there is one scratch. The number 7 Royal County's been scratched.
The 7 scratch. When I looked a little bit earlier, it had not been in there. So,
yeah,
the scratches must be pretty new. This one's 5 furlongs on the turf. So far, they've won four races, a split 50-50 between speed horses and those that come off the pace, none of which have gone wire to wire, surprisingly, in a 5 furlong turf race, right? You'd think one would go wire to wire. And there has been an 8+ bias. If we take a look real quick at how this race breaks out in terms of how the horses like to win, In race number 3, you can see that a lot of these horses like to win from the front. Mystic Eyes likes to be up on the front. Number 5, Twilight Gleaming, likes to be on the front. Number 9 likes to win on the front. Artos. Number 10 is Tis Plenty, likes to win off the front. Surprisingly, with all those horses that like to win on the front, none of them have shown the ability to win so far if they don't get the lead. So the 2, the 5, the 9, and the 10, whichever one of those fails to get the lead, its race might be over from the beginning. Horses that can pressure: Margie's Kitchen, the 3-horse, the 6-horse, Sunday Grace, the 7-horse, Royal County, the 11 is Divine Charger. Those horses can sit right off the lead, none of which, though, have gotten to the lead and taken home the W. So if any of those pop out to the lead, watch out. They're probably going to fade. The 4-horse is sitting there all by itself as a lone style. That is Boxing Day. Boxing Day can pressure or close for the win. And then on the way home, the 1-horse, Tro Beritz, the 8-horse, that is Majestic D'Oro, and the 12-horse, Street Tapper. All of those have gotten their only W's by closing. As far as the pace is considered, this race, as you can imagine, is going to be a lot of pace, and they kind of step down a little bit. Mystic Eyes looks like it's the fastest out of the barn, followed by Twilight Gleaming, and then Margie's Kitchen. So each one seems to have a little bit less pace than the one above it. And then on the way home, Twilight Gleaming, the horse that should be sitting right off the lead, has some of the best late pace. Boxing Day will be right behind it, along with Majestic D'Oro. And here, if we look at our speed chart, you can see that the 2-horse, it looks to me like the 2, and the 5, although the 2-horse is very lightly raced in Mystic Eyes, and the 5-horse being Twilight Gleaming. Their average races tend to be better than most of the other races, peak speed numbers for the other horses in the field. And the red dot signifies the average speed figure, and then that line brings you from top to bottom, Terry. A lot of horses in this field. Thankfully, 1 scratch to 7, so we go from 12 to 11 horses. Let's start off with Tro Beritz, Terry.
Yeah, this horse won 2 races in a row, and then in the last race, she went in a grade 2 and ran 8th. But, she was bumped pretty hard at the start. And she drops in class today, returning to a sprint, which may help. Good 3-furlong workout on May 9th. Keeneland, 36-3 breezing, 6th best out of 34.
Indeed, the horse is making its 3rd start off a layoff last time out. 3rd start was a little bit of a regression from the 2nd start, but the horse does take a little bit of step back in class. Terry, are you familiar with Richard Baltus being suspended at Santa Anita?
No, I heard he was, but I'm not familiar with the
reasons
story.
why.
Yeah, I haven't actually read it yet.
Yeah, nor have I.
You've been keeping me too busy, so.
I think you're keeping me busy the other way around.
That could be. That could be.
Yes, indeed. My phone constantly buzzing from Terry, Sean, and a whole host of other people. 2-horse gets the lead, going wire to wire. Although, Mystic Eyes, it does have the early pace. You're right about that, because when we look at the pace figures, it does show that it does have the early pace. But early pace none of them have gone wire to wire. Surprisingly, 5 furlongs at the distance. It did win a $100,000 non-graded stake last time at Belmont way back in November, making its 3-year-old debut. Sometimes those horses that were great at 2 kind of struggle a little bit at 3. Terry, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. Sometimes they do that. So this horse is actually, whoops, I'm on the wrong sheet here again. So this horse has actually won 2 out of 4 races and never been out of the money. He's won his last race at Belmont, and he's a speed horse, so he's going to go for the front.
He's going to go for the lead and try to take it all the way. Number 3, Margie's Kitchen. This one can sit off the lead. Tried to take the lead last time out in April at Keeneland and faded badly. So maybe it could return to turf where it sat right behind the leader and won in its debut. Maybe that's what we're going to see out of Margie's Kitchen today.
Yeah, I think so, because she won her first race on the turf, and then she tried dirt, and I don't think she liked dirt at all, so she didn't have any success. The trainer wins 29% of the time though on non-graded stakes, so that's gonna be, I think, a key here. So
Yeah, I don't know necessarily. I just think it's tough to go from your maiden win on turf, then turn around against an allowance $110,000 company at Keeneland. I mean, those are going to be pretty solid horses.
They are, yeah, they
And
are.
it had a good, it had the lead and just couldn't hold on. Boxing Day hasn't run since March when it ran at Fairgrounds last. This is one that can sit off the lead or come from a little bit deeper. So maybe that racing versatility in a field that might have a lot of pace could work to Boxing Day's advantage and close to the win.
Yeah, as you said, she's had a really big break in her racing. She did finish third at the fairgrounds, and she does have a high percentage winning trainer. And they're going to put blinkers on today to see if that will help out.
Number 5, Twilight Gleaming. One of those proverbial has done nothing wrong horses. It's run 6 times at 3 wins, 3 seconds. And the most it's been beat by is 1 1/4 miles over at Ascot in the Queen Mary, which is a very strong race. This one seems to be the class of the field, Terry, though Tyler G and I, we don't always get along.
Yeah, that's true. You sometimes you just don't make. When you bet him, he doesn't seem to do
Run.
very well, and then the other way around, right?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, but as you said, he's been in 6 starts and never been out of the money, and he's won 3 races. It has the highest last speed rating. This is a shorter distance, so I think that's going to help. And his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters.
Sunday Grace, something we can all use a little bit of. Last time out, ran at Indiana, which is now Horseshoe Indianapolis. Made easy work of the Horseshoe Indianapolis field, winning by 7 3/4 lengths. Trainer Ray Hernandez taking his talents over to Louisville, Kentucky in round number 2. Looking at the horse's past history, mixed bag in round 2 off the bench. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is probably a little too tough for this horse, although the trainer does win 17% of the sprints he enters a horse in.
So Charles thinks Pletcher is going to get this one. Race number 7, you said Royal County is scratched.
Yep.
Majestic D'Oro is the 8 horse ridden by your friend or your favorite jockey, I think, Smoking
Joe Talamo.
See, I know I didn't even have to finish, and you would cue it right in there. Horse did show a little bit of improvement early on, but regressed in the beginning at the end of last race. I think maybe Smoking Joe might have a little bit of his work cut out for him here.
Yeah, this horse is trying turf for the first time. And as you said, he's got Smoking Joe Talamo in the irons. He has a high percentage trainer. Breeding suggests that she will like the grass, and she drops in class today. Dams produce 1 turf winner.
So number 9 is Artos. This one hasn't run since March the 26th at Gulfstream, where it finished a very disappointing 9th out of 9 horses, 8.5 lengths off the lead as a 4-1. It did run in the Queen Mary against Twilight Gleaming way back last June. Finished 4th against a pretty good field right there. So bullet workout on May 4th at Keeneland suggests that maybe Artos is back in form.
Yeah, she broke her maiden at Churchill Downs, and then, as you said, she went to Europe to compete in the Queen Mary Grade 2 and ran 4th out of 21 horses, which isn't really bad. She came back to the States, and then she ran that 9th after taking a really hard bump at the start of the race. Has a bullet workout on May 4th, as you said, so she's coming back into her own, I think.
Tis Plenty has been off since last September, making her 3-year-old debut. I mentioned how sometimes those horses that were spectacular as 3-year-olds, as 2-year-olds, sometimes stumble as 2-year-olds. This one was a mixed bag as a 2-year-old, so maybe comes back as a 3-year-old, improved. Workouts getting ready for this spot were okay at best. So maybe this one needs a start for Steve Asmussen before we see the best of it.
Yeah, she did win her last race at Churchill Downs, but she's moving up in class from last start and has not raced in more than 7 months. So this will be a hard task for her to accomplish.
Hard pass as well. Divine Charger, the 11, coming off a 7th place run over at Keeneland, but in one of those allowances, 110,000 versus some pretty good company in there. Ran on the turf 4 times, got some decent pedigree numbers for the turf, Terry. Brian Hernandez in the irons for the 2nd time in a row. Maybe one that could improve here, but it would probably have to run its best a factor.
Yeah, this one hasn't won since last August, and the trainer wins 17% of the time when going from dirt to turf. But I think that's really tough for this one in this race too.
Number 12, Street Tapper, came out, won its debut, coming from way off the pace at Colonial Downs at 5.5 furlongs. Got off to a slow start. And then it was for Ray Lu Gutierrez in round 2 over at Keeneland, and an optional claiming 62.5. It was well bet in its second race at $4 to 4 to 1. That's been on the bench since September. Maybe comes back and runs well with some time off, and maybe a long shot to keep an eye on.
It could be actually my 5th pick, but it's only had one start in one win and 2 career starts. But yeah, it's one that might just sneak in there.
So it says, when in the racing form I see the Comet in hand twice in a row, run to the window, put a huge bet win. You don't see that very often, and hope to get 5 to 2. So let's see, who's that 5 to 2 horse that he's talking about? Is that the
that's the number 2, I think, Mystic Eyes.
Mystic Eyes in hand. All right, yes. So 2, the Mystic Eyes. All right, Terry. So how are you going to play this one?
Well, first of all, I think the way it's going to run is Twilight Gleaming, and Mystic Eyes is going to go to the front. Artos will stay close to the pace and close at the end, and Majestic Dior will probably close from farther back. I like number 1, Twilight Gleaming. I think that this horse is going to win the race.
That's number 5.
I'm sorry. Yeah, number 5. That's my first pick. Mm-hmm. Sorry about that. Then I like number 9, Artos is my second pick. I like number 2, Mystic Eyes is my third pick. And I like number 8, Majestic Dior is my fourth pick.
I think it's a toss-up between the 5 and the 2. But I'm going to go with Twilight Gleaming with the slight edge because it has a race under its belt. So I think it'll be a little bit fitter and probably faced a little bit better company than Majestic Eyes has. I don't think against Twilight Gleaming or Artos it's going to be able to be in hand for the 3rd time in a row. I do like Artos as my 3rd choice. And then to bring home the Superfecta, I'm going to do it with Tis Plenty, a little bit of a price at the back end for Stephen Asmussen.
All right.
So the last race we're going to cover is on the West Coast. That is Santa Anita Santa Barbara Stakes, a grade 3, $125,000, 1.5 miles downhill, Terry. Turf, fillies and mares, 3 years old and up. And you can imagine they don't run a whole lot of these. This will be the second one that they've run. The last one went wire to wire. So maybe speed has an advantage here. I don't know if one race is enough to consider it as a trend. Probably not, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
But there really hasn't been one that the 4 horse is one that can get to the co-pilot. So Neige Blanche, but it really looks like to me it would rather pressure or close. The 5 and the 6 cover version and Carpe Venom. Those horses like to pressure the leader. The 1 horse can pressure the leader, Queen Goddess, or it can come from off the pace. And then New Heat and Queen of the Temple, they've only visited the winner's circle, coming off the pace. Coming out of the gate, it sure looks to me like cover version is going to be the fastest of the bunch. A little bit of competition from Queen Goddess and Carpe Venom. And then on the way home, Neige Blanche, New Hat. They have very similar late pace numbers. So they're going to be in the back, maybe, if early pace numbers mean anything here. And then they're going to be trying to push their way to the front. The one that looks like it'll be somewhere near the front out of the gate and then still have enough late pace to maybe bring it home is the 6 horse, Carpe Venom. And then according to our stock charts, it looks to me like, despite the odds, this looks like a pretty even race to me with all of the average races in a pretty tight box there.
Yeah, I agree with that. So anyway, I love these 1.5 mile races, the marathon races. And this Queen Goddess, number 1, she won 2 out of the last 3 races, including the winning the last race at Santa Anita on the turf. And it was a grade 3. She has the highest last race speed rating, and her best turf speed is fastest among today's starters. Likes the distance. She has 6 starts and 5 in the money with 3 winners.
Oh, those are on turf. I don't think she's run 1.5 miles. Yeah, I think the farthest she's gone is 1.25 miles, it looks like. So the distance will be a question for her. It's first start off the break since March 26th. Looking back at the first start at Del Mar career, finished second by a head, made a big late move there. So I think that it's a plus. The next time out, tried dirt and didn't really succeed on the dirt. So maybe first time off the bench for Victor Espinoza might work out. New Heat has run at Santa Anita 9 times, 3 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. Run at other tracks 6 times, has absolutely 0 wins. So maybe this is a horse for the course for Tyler Bays.
Could be. And then, excuse me, I had to cough there. Anyway, this horse is a deep closer. She likes the turf. 7 out of 15 starts in the money, and she's won 3 of those. And I think she's a little bit over her head.
Probably. Queen of the Temple making its 3rd start off a layoff for jockey Drayden Van Dyke, trainer Dan Blecker, who's won 7 of 21 starts so far at the Santa Anita, or at least the 21 horses he's put in. Santa Anita 3 times for Queen of the Temple with a win and a couple of seconds, although it broke its maiden last time out in its 5th try, but it's never been off the board, Terry.
No, it's true. You know, this horse won the last race at Santa Anita. It was a turf, and it's got a high percentage winning trainer, Dan Blecker, who I really like this trainer. Sharp 4-long workout of 48, handling 7th best of 59. So this is a dangerous horse to watch.
Neige Blanche is one that has tackled the distance, 1.5 miles at Santa Anita. It's done it twice, it looks like to me, and it won both of those races. In fact, it's run at Santa Anita 7 times, only has 2 wins at Santa Anita and 2/3. And as I mentioned, both of those came at 1.5 miles. Can Neige Blanche make it 3 for 3?
Yeah, you know, she's very versatile. She can run on top, or she can come off the pace, or come from deep. She finished 3rd in her last race, losing to Queen Goddess. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, but as you say, she's perfect at this distance, 2 for 2.
Cover version, this one could be the one that gets up to the front, Terry. It doesn't really look like it if you look at the past performance figures, but the horse is moving from 6.5, 7.5 furlongs. So from like the quirky sprint routes to a long route, I wouldn't be surprised to see Cover version get to the front. As I mentioned, the only race so far at the distance was one wire to wire. Can Cover version make it 2 wire to wires at 1.5 miles downhill in a row?
I've got a little problem with that, but been racing at Turf Paradise and came to Santa Anita to run a grade 2 race. Ran 5th out of 6 runners, but experienced some trouble in there. She's steady between early, so.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. Carpe Venum won its last race at Santa Anita at 1 mile, closed nicely in the final 16th. You do see a little bit of improvement across the board. So the 2 furlong number, the 4 furlong number, late pace number got better, although it did race against Queen of Goddess and Neige Blanche 2 races back, and was nowhere near either one of them at the finish line at 1.25 miles. Any chance it can make up the difference?
Yeah, I think she's got a slight chance here. She ran 2nd in her last race, but she was only beaten the nose. She has a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days has been in the money 9 out of 19 times, winning 6 of those. So that's pretty darn good.
All right, Terry. So the last race for us today at Santa Anita, how do you think they're going to finish?
Well, first of all, there's not a lot of speed in here. I think Queen Goddess will go to the front, and possibly Cover version will go there with her. And then Neige Blanche will close at the end to win, as she's done in the 2 1.5 mile races that he's ran before. So my first pick is number 4, Neige Blanche. My second pick is number 1, Queen Goddess. My third pick is number 3, Queen of Temple. And my fourth pick is number 6, Carpe Venum.
Well, we lined them up exactly the same, Terry. I agree with you on that. I'm going to go Neige Blanche first, with Queen Goddess second, followed by Queen of the Temple, and then Carpe Venum as my last choice. Again, 4, 1, 3, and 6, Terry.
All right.
And if we hit today in any of these races, and you do as well as we do, take a look at the one hat like Terry has on right there. Please head on over to horseracingtoday.net, click on the HRT gear, pick yourself up a number 1 hat, or you can get into the summertime colors like me, nice pink shirt, if for the ladies out there with the number 8.
Yeah,
definitely the weather's warming up, a little bit of sun, you'll look a little bit better in the pastels, hopefully, and it makes you a better handicapper, right, Terry?
Yeah, that's true. It helps me a lot. I wear it when I'm handicapped.
Hey, puts you in the mood, Terry.
It does. It does. Yeah, I took a little peek at ballots, what's going on with him, and I guess they came up with some drug. They detected some drugs in one of the horses or whatever. And I think if that's true, then he should be treated like anybody else, and yeah, he should be suspended. So
you're talking about Santa Anita, the 4-horse here, Charles? You think that Neige Blanche is a single in the so that would put it in, it is the beginning of the late pick 5. So maybe it'd be a good way to cut that late pick 5 at Santa Anita down to just 4 races to a pick 4.
I totally agree with him, and that's how I'm going to play it today. So
yeah, maybe, but I do kind of worry about Queen Goddess, or maybe getting out to an easy lead. Although it does look to me like the other horse, the 5-horse, will probably give it a little bit of pressure up front. Be interesting to see if the wire to wire goes the other way. Thank you, Charles. We hope you have a great day too. I want to say thank you to Stacy Hay Listiak. I hope I pronounced that right.
That's right. Listiak.
KT White for the thumbs up on Facebook. Like Stacy and KT. If you like what you see, please give us a thumbs up on Facebook. Follow us there at Horse Race Today. You can do that as well at Instagram and Twitter. And while you're here at Horse Racing Radar TV on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and the bell. Thumbs up there. Help us with our ratios. The better we do, the more thumbs up we get, the less thumbs down we get, the higher up their rankings we go. All right, Terry, that wraps up another Saturday Stake Show. We'll be back on Monday at 12 noon Eastern to cover the races at Parks, where we'll have our hot dog pick 4, our prime rib pick 4s, our box it ups, our best bets, our long shot, our top 4 picks for every race at Parks. I think that's it.
I think it is. So I think everybody should just take it easy this weekend. Have a great weekend. Tomorrow I'm going to go to Golden Gate Fields with my daughter and her honey bun. I guess that's what you can call him. Anyway, I'm going to have a great time. I've been handicapping those races, and I hope that everything in Europe settles down and that things get better for all of us.
We certainly hope, no matter what you're doing this weekend, if you're out in the yard cutting the grass, catching a little bit of sun at the beach, a little bit of R&R off a tough week of work, or if you're at the office and you're sneaking in a couple of bets, whether they be the stakes races we covered or your favorite track, no matter where it is and what you do, we hope it all ends up in our good friend Jay Marco's
winner's circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you Monday.